Did you know that some of the world's most successful individuals and companies have effectively used debt to accelerate their wealth creation? Sounds crazy, right? Let me share a quick story. Have you ever heard of a small company called Tesla? You may know it as the world-renowned electric car manufacturer, but back in 2008, Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy. Elon Musk, its CEO, had to personally borrow money to keep the company afloat. Today, we all know how this story turned out. Tesla has become one of the most valuable car companies worldwide, and Elon Musk has become one of the wealthiest people on Earth. This is not to say that every debt situation will lead to becoming a billionaire, but it paints an illustrative picture of how debt, when properly managed and smartly utilized, can potentially turn into a stepping stone toward being rich. So today we're going to explore the intricacies of debt, the difference between good and bad debt, and how you too can use debt to your advantage, just like Elon Musk and Tesla did. Let's start by understanding good debt is bad debt. Debt at its core is money borrowed that you promise to repay in the future, typically with interest. But here's a fun fact: not all debt is created equal. That's right, there's such a thing as good debt and bad debt. It's crucial to understand this distinction because, as we'll learn, one can build your wealth while the other can potentially drain it. Here's an analogy. Imagine debt as a tool, say a hammer. You can use it to build a house or break a window. It's not the tool itself, but how do you use it that matters, right? The same applies to debt. Bad debt is like using a hammer to break a window. It typically involves borrowing money to buy depreciating assets or things that don't generate income or increase in value over time. Credit card debt and car loans are classic examples of bad debt. They usually come with high interest rates, and the items you buy with them, let's say a brand new TV or a flashy sports car, they lose value over time and definitely don't earn you any income. Good debt is like using a hammer to build a house. It is debt taken on for things that will grow in value or generate long-term income. This could be investing in education, buying a home, or starting a business. For instance, let's talk about Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Kiyosaki has often said, there's good debt and bad debt. Good debt makes you rich, and bad debt makes you poor. When Kiyosaki speaks of good debt, he's referring to things like real estate investments, where you take on a loan to buy a property and then rent it out. The rental income can cover your loan repayments and potentially provide you with extra cash flow each month. Over time, the property may also appreciate in value, increasing your wealth.
So anything else? So good debt, what?
Money in your pocket.
And bad debt, what?
Takes money out of your pocket.
That's all there is.
Yeah.
The key here is to make your money, or in this case, your debt, work for you. The ability to differentiate and effectively manage these two types of debt can significantly influence your financial journey. It's not about avoiding debt altogether, but rather learning to leverage it effectively. All right, moving on to our next chapter, we're going to talk about smart borrowing practices. Now that you understand the difference between good debt and bad debt, let's discuss how you can borrow intelligently. The first rule of thumb when borrowing money, whether it's for a house, a business venture, or education, is to understand the loan terms thoroughly. This includes the interest rate, payment schedule, and any potential fees involved. In the finance world, we like to say, the devil is in the details, and trust me, you don't want to be caught off guard with unexpected costs down the line. Next, it's crucial to borrow only what you can afford to repay. There's an old saying, don't bite off more than you can chew, and it certainly applies to borrowing. Remember, debt can be a useful tool, but it becomes a burden when it's more than you can handle. Always evaluate your current financial status and ensure your income can comfortably cover the repayment amounts. Now let's talk about interest rates. Typically, lower interest rates make a loan more attractive, but it's essential to understand the difference between fixed and variable rates. Fixed rates remain constant over the life of the loan, while variable rates can fluctuate. Make sure you know which one you're signing up for and consider the potential changes in your future financial situation. Let's look at an example. Apple, one of the most profitable companies globally, has been known to borrow money despite its enormous cash reserves. Why? Because it can borrow money at incredibly low interest rates and then use its cash reserves for other investments that provide higher returns. Finally, consider alternatives to traditional loans. Peer-to-peer lending and borrowing against your 401k plan are worth exploring. These alternatives can provide lower interest rates or more flexible repayment terms. Again, make sure you fully understand the implications of these choices before jumping in. And that's it for smart borrowing practices. If you're enjoying this video and learning something new, don't forget to hit the like button. Have you ever taken out a loan and wished you knew these tips before? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could help someone else. Now our next important topic is debt management. So you have your loan, you've invested wisely, but how do you effectively manage this debt? First things first, let's get one thing straight. Paying off debt should be a priority, but not at the expense of your well-being or your financial future. You might recall the wise words of Warren Buffett, who said, "Do not save what is left after spending. Instead, spend what is left after saving." This principle also applies to paying off debt. Consider paying off your debt strategically. An effective method is the snowball method, where you first focus on the account with the lowest balance while maintaining minimum payments on other accounts. On the other hand, the avalanche method emphasizes paying off the debt with the highest interest first. Both strategies have their merits, and the choice largely depends on your personal financial situation and motivation style. If you want to learn more about these methods and how you can pay off your debt faster, check the description box for some of our videos about this. Remember that consolidating your debts can also be a wise decision. A single loan with a lower interest rate can make it easier to manage your monthly payments and potentially save you money in the long run. Debt consolidation can involve transferring credit card balances to a 0% APR card, getting a personal loan, or even using a home equity line of credit. Above all, remember to stay disciplined. Yes, it might seem attractive to splurge on that fancy new gadget or an impromptu vacation, but will it push you deeper into debt? If the answer is yes, maybe it's time to reconsider. As Thomas Jefferson once said, never spend your money before you have it. Now, let's get into the fun part. We talked about good debt and bad debt, and how to manage that debt. But how can you actually make money from it? Sounds like a paradox, right? Not quite, my friends. When used wisely, debt can indeed become an income stream. Imagine this: you got a loan at an interest rate of 5%, and you invest that money into an asset or a venture that yields 7% annually. After paying the loan's interest, you're left with a 2% profit. Doesn't that sound like much? Well, over time, this can result in significant gains. In essence, you're leveraging debt to make money, and that's one of the fundamentals of wealth creation. One popular avenue for this kind of investment is real estate. Mortgages are an example of good debt, as we discussed earlier. Let's say you take a mortgage to buy a rental property. If your rental income covers your mortgage payment and expenses and leaves something extra, you're effectively making money from your debt. Over time, as you pay down your mortgage and your property appreciates, your income increases. On a smaller scale, you might consider using a loan to start a side hustle or small business, provided you have a solid business plan and market research. And if you have a knack for creating content, why not use a bit of money to start a YouTube channel or blog? With advertising and affiliate marketing, these platforms can become valuable passive income sources. As the famous saying goes, it takes money to make money. But remember, this strategy comes with its risks. Always do your homework and consider your risk tolerance before diving in. If you've been enjoying this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Now, we've been through a journey today. We talked about how to understand debt, how to manage it, and even how to make money with it. But what's the ultimate goal here? Is it not to achieve financial freedom? When we talk about financial freedom, we're talking about a state where you're not constantly worrying about money, where your income is more than your expenses, and where you're not burdened by debt. It's that beautiful place where your money works for you, and not the other way around. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's not unreachable. It's all about taking control of your finances and making money work for you. One powerful tool in your journey to financial freedom is investing. Investment is basically putting your money to work. Whether it's in real estate, the stock market, or in a business venture, investing allows your money to grow. But you might wonder, how can I start investing when I'm trying to pay off debt? Well, it's all about balance. Remember what we said about good debt and bad debt? By focusing on paying off bad debt while also investing, you can grow your wealth over time. Even small amounts invested wisely can yield significant results over time due to the magic of compounding. When it comes to investing, diversification is your friend. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Instead, spread your investments across various types of assets to mitigate risk. This includes a mix of stocks, bonds, real estate, and even some alternative investments. By diversifying, you're not only spreading risk but also increasing your chances of reaping returns from different sectors. Building a solid emergency fund is also an essential step in achieving financial freedom. An emergency fund acts as a financial safety net and ensures that you don't have to take on more debt in case of unforeseen circumstances. If you want to learn to set up an emergency fund, you can check one of our videos. Link is in the description box below. Financial freedom doesn't happen overnight, my friends. It requires discipline, a clear financial plan, and regular reviews of your financial decisions. But it's a journey worth undertaking. After all, who doesn't want to be the master of their own money? Alright, that's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this journey through the world of debt, loans, and financial freedom. If you found value in this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm curious, what steps have you taken towards your financial freedom? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your debt can be your ticket to financial success.